Said, we see the players on stage. We got Splat or Swim versus EB Nigiri heading into Redemption Round 3.
Yeah, and EB Nigiri was on stage earlier in Redemption Round number 1, and oh, that was truly a heartbreaker. They took, I believe it was Bread Bank to Game 5, ready for the reverse sweep, and fell just a little bit short. So they're looking for a little bit of redemption in Redemption here on stage as they take on Splat or Swim.
Right, and this is going to be an incredibly competitive matchup. I'd say these two teams are very on par, especially after the performance that EB Nigiri put up against Bread Bank. Bread Bank is filled with players who have just ample experience in high-level gameplay. And with EB Nigiri coming into their own with very consistent mid-level gameplay, with also low ink successes, speed ladder successes, fantastic wins off of really strong teams. We are going to see a very competitive gameplay here, and I hope this goes to Game 5.
I really hope so too. I feel like Nigiri here is riding a little bit of momentum. I think they lost it there in Game 5, but hopefully in Round 2 they were able to kind of pick up a little bit there what they had lost, and now they could jump into this last round of Redemption. This is, I guess, truly do or die. Give themselves a shot to hopefully get into that top 16.
Right, exactly. All right, it looks like the players are ready up, geared up to go. Here we go. Tower control on Starfish main stage.
Ooh, man. So
is that a Vanilla Pro? Excuse me?
That is a Vanilla Pro coming out of Fishy. I know Fishy is primarily a Luna player, so this is definitely a very surprising pick. And it seems like Nigiri's playing some very different weapons from what they normally bring out.
Off the cuff, but I think I appreciate it, honestly. I'm all for more weapon variety in this community. And we see Fishy trying to finish off a point here and nabs the kill here, gets surprised by the try and takes him down. Wow, Fishy, hold on a second. Are they going to go for the third?
Fishy's supposed to be a Luna main, not a pro main, but Fishy has found themselves a triple here, and Nigiri is going to be the first ones to get control of this tower. They're going to ride this all the way to the first checkpoint, and it looks like there's not really any specials or anything for Splat or Swim to contest this checkpoint with, and they're going to get through that without any problem.
Great use of the Sting right here by Starbit to kind of make way for the tower here. We do see Cannon dropping down, though, with the K-Gal, getting some pressure off of that tower, pushing Starbit away, and Starbit just flies and jumps away from the action. And we see kind of this recovery period that Splat or Swim is trying to take here as they regain control in mid.
Wow, a fantastic push, though, from Nigiri to start this one off. Because, I think they were definitely, lost that momentum, as we mentioned, but they've quickly found this yet again. And now they find themselves with a 2-person advantage. And they might be able to get control of this tower once again as Starbit looking to pick off this mini Splat wing. Riley going to come in and try to support this, and it looks like the pressure is just going to be enough to push back the players of Splat or Swim, and they're going to pick up control of this tower one more time.
Right, EB Nigiri is taking advantage of even just a one-man down opportunity to get this tower going. I mean, they almost blazed through the second checkpoint here. However, we do see a bit of a pause here as we see Cannon sharking and anticipating a move, getting ready to take this kill on the jump, nabs it, and proceeds to hang on to Starbit right here.
Yeah, they are definitely looking for that second pick here, but it's going to be Detritus contesting him. That's going to be a trade. I definitely think they got out of that one a little bit fortunate because it seemed like that they were not in quite the position there to try to surprise them quite a bit. But now it is going to be Splat or Swim getting their first turn at the tower. Echo with this Brella going to find one, and that's going to be 2 down for Splat or Swim. Yet again, this push not going to be going for long as the remaining members are going to have to back up here. And now it's going to just be this Tri-Slosh, but the Tri-Slosh is going to find 2.
Now 2 down on each side. That was an incredible defensive hold. Even though Splat or Swim was 1 down, they still had a couple of specials to work with. That being said, we see Fishy putting on pressure on Snipe here, and EB Nigiri is ready to make for another push with these special combinations.
They really are ready to just kind of get going here, but that Tri-Slosher is going to go down. Cannon is doing a fantastic job getting a couple of crucial picks here. They don't quite have a lot of KA on the board yet, but the picks they've gotten so far have been major differences for Splat or Swim to keep themselves within striking distance of Nigiri.
Right, we see Riley jump out of there to avoid some of the pressure from the rainstorm. However, I think we see in the corner here, Fishy with the flank, trying to catch Splat or Swim off guard, but nonetheless, Splat or Swim caught it out, and they are moving on and trying to get through this first checkpoint with relative ease.
Yeah, they finally found themselves in a much more advantageous position there, and they are now punishing Nigiri as they find 3 down there. It is just Fishy, but Fishy has been the last person before, but unfortunately, it's not going to be any magic from them this time as that second checkpoint is going to clear. Splat or Swim gains control of the lead, and they have a splash wall on that tower, and they are now just piling on Nigiri here, and they might be able to ride this one all the way out. This could be a delayed wipe here. Yes, it is, and they will ride this checkpoint through with ease and secure the knockout.
Wow, that was all of a sudden, just you think that EB Nigiri has a relatively safe lead, and all of a sudden, Splat or Swim just turned it up a notch once they punished Fishy's flank. I have to give credit here to Mordo's Tri-Slosher here. I know they truly, just from the KA, they just truly shined. But I have to point out the specific moment here where that just got the ball rolling. When Fishy was trapped and the last man standing for EB Nigiri, I know that they made that call out to say, Booyah over here, Mordo pincer onto the Splattershot Pro. They go down, all of a sudden, Mordo just goes in. That was just fantastic team play and coordination on the side of Splat or Swim and just punishing EB Nigiri's simple mistakes.
Yeah, Mordo really showed up as the MVP there in game number 1. But, I mean, definitely still kudos there to Nigiri for playing really strong there. I think that whatever has happened in the previous rounds of Redemption, they managed to shake off, and they are ready to make this a very competitive set. So they lost the first one. That's fine. They also lost the first one on stage in Redemption round number 1. So familiar spot for them being down early in the set. They can definitely find their way through here and be able to hopefully tie this one up here in game number 2.
Right, exactly. These are still very competitive matches, and I thought this was going to swing EB Nigiri's way. So let's take a look. Game number 2, a very fast-paced loadout on the side of Splat or Swim. My goodness, the longest range is probably that splash.
It might be. I'm not quite sure there because they're all pretty similar in range, very short range at that. So it looks like Pop here will be going to Nigiri, surprisingly, especially with him having a Luna, as now we are seeing Fishy's actual main coming out here, and they are going to be utilizing that to get this first pick here, looking for the second. Going to get a little bit of chip damage here, finally able to do so, but they do go down to Vision. So a little bit of a stalemate early on, as this is just start off with picks on either side. Both teams trying to get control of mid before picking up that Rainmaker.
Right, exactly. I was getting worried that Fishy was going to be punished for being so alone there, but somehow was able to outmaneuver the K-Shot in that moment. Starbit picking up the Rainmaker, preparing a push on this Mei side here, being taken down by Cannons and Zap. But we do see Fishy on this flank here, and now we're in a really interesting scenario where here it looks like Splat or Swim is going to be able to kind of pause and reset this Rainmaker.
I gotta give credit to Fishy there for at least trying to hold the shark there. I think that it just had to be a jump out situation. But nonetheless, it slowed down Splat or Swim just enough there to allow the rest of his team to get back in here. And look at this! Starbit's gonna actually pick up this Rainmaker and bring it all the way to 46 remaining, slipping through the right side of the map here. And the burst there of the Rainmaker going to take down another member. They're going to attack on 16 more points, bringing that all the way down to 30 remaining.
It looks like there was a miscommunication on the side of Splat or Sim. You already saw someone already looking to kind of start sharking and make an offensive move there, with given how aggressive this comp is. However, I don't think anyone stayed back to realize until the last absolute moment, oh no, someone is grabbing the Rainmaker and making just gunning for it.
And Starbit was on the spot like too. That's not normally a weapon that you would see in that position, being able to slip through and make that type of play. So, I mean, fantastic job to Starbit there. And look at Echo now with this K-Shot, finding a wonderful double that's going to open this left-hand side, but Mordo going to be able to shut down Starbit, who picked up that Rainmaker. And now it looks like Riley is going to be trapped and going to get shut down for it. Fishy going to try to hold this position here, but not going to be able to win this 1v3 situation. NM picking up this Rainmaker now, bringing it to mid, and these are going to be the first points on the board for Splat or Swim.
I mean, I thought something was going to happen based off of Echo's fantastic double there and negating that armor that popped off on the side of Splatter Swim. And now here we are preparing here for a push, but I mean, Echo shuts that down once again. Echo shining through, getting a triple, almost getting the quad there off of Splatter Swim. I thought something was going to happen for Splatter Swim to get some points on the board, but they didn't get very far.
Yeah, a wonderful couple of picks there, and that gives Nigiri the opportunity to now push. Fishy going to start playing up, has that baller at the ready, but not going to be able to bring it out before getting shut down by Cannon, and that's going to be 3 down for Nigiri. So they're going to have to take a step back here, play some defense. Splat or Swim is going to be coming in fast here to try to put some major points on the board.
We already see the specials popping off, the Tri-Slosher popping that rain immediately as the moment their gauge filled up. NM being patient with the Rainmaker, taking their time. And we see someone stuck at the corner there, 2 down on the side of EB Nigiri. And that Rainmaker looks like has a clear path. Cannon painted the way. Up the podium they go, and they're stopped to a halt by Fishy on the Luna. And that is a devastating push there, DRF.
Oh, man. Yeah, Nigiri just let that one slip. They needed to stay alive. Numbers was the most important thing in that situation. But they really wanted to get that pick and shut down the Rainmaker before they lost the lead. So it's just quite unfortunate for them. But Splat or Swim doing a fantastic job here of just maintaining a little bit of pressure. Nigiri has all 4 specials online. That armor is going to get popped from that Tri-Slosher. Fishy going to bring out that ball and run over somebody there.
Right, now they have to take advantage of this. Using all those 4 specials like that was having to get them out. So the specials weren't being used in an advantageous way to actually make use of them and be efficient. Now we see Splat or Swim already at a point where they're able to grab the Rainmaker again and put on some pressure.
Ooh, and that's going to be 3 down on the side of Splat or Swim. The Splash going to take a step back here, preserve life, and get ready to play some defense as Fishy and Riley going to start this offensive push, going to start getting some ink down in the enemy base, and hopefully get a couple of picks, open this path for Starbit, who's carrying this Rainmaker.
Right now, we're in the last points of the game here with 15 seconds left on the clock. Mordo shutting down any hopes and dreams of this push happening. Echo's the only one alive, hanging around in hills, trying to generate some results here. But with the clock ticking down and no one by the Rainmaker, this is looking rather grim for EB Nigiri.
Yeah, Splat or Swim there made an excellent recovery. I mean, it was looking bad for them early on, but they turned that around, and it all started by getting that wipe on Nigiri, and from there activating their specials, opened up the path, and were just able to force their way through. And following that was another wipe, and that brought it all the way up to the pedestal. Luckily, this is a wonderful time to have a Luna Blaster on your team to be able to shoot over that pedestal and shut down a push before they could get the knockout. So at the very least, they found themselves, Nigiri found themselves an opportunity to stay in the game despite the wipe. But I mean, Splat or Swim though, that was a wonderful push from them.
Right, that was just a great execution and punishing specific key moments that AB Nigiri just lost sight of. And I think once again, to reiterate, Splatoon 2's flaw with Rainmaker, there is no true safe lead in Rainmaker. So I'm sure just like you think you have such a safe lead with such a strong push early on, and you think things are going okay. You've been holding them off this entire game. All of a sudden, just one little mistake, and it can all just fall apart.
Yeah, it really can, and you know that's why it's going to be interesting going into Splatoon 3 to see how the pace of Rainmaker games changes with the addition of checkpoints. So I definitely think these teams, you know, that game would have played entirely different if it was Splatoon 3 because you can't play as fast. And, you know, that push that we saw to Splat or Swim would not have happened the way that it did.
Right, exactly. Now, with EB Nigiri once again on the back foot, just like in the set that they were on stream earlier today. Down 2-0, down for the count. They've had a couple of tough losses here. Not completely just, they're winnable losses, but nonetheless, the momentum is definitely in Splat or Swim's favor here. And we are entering now Clambit Slapper Canal. EB Nigiri has got to pull something together.
They really do, but like you said, it is a familiar position for them. They can totally work with this. So
agreed.
They're just going to have to kind of stay cool, calm, collected. But if you're Splat or Swim, you need to close it out right here.
Exactly.
Like,
right.
You don't want to give them any sort of life. You've played a really good first 2 games, you know, had to play from behind a little bit. So if you're behind here as well for Splat or Swim, you're okay with that also.
Right, exactly. Interesting. Similar loadouts to what Splat or Swim has run before. A couple of changes on the side of EB Nigiri in the orange. We see a blob that Starbit is bringing out, and Echo still remaining on the K-shot nonetheless. But we already have 2 down on the side of EB Nigiri. And as you know, the Clam Economy is just activated right now.
Yeah, finally getting a couple more clams out here. Echo trying to find a pick on this Tri-Nouveau, but it is not quite there. Going to have to play back a little bit, keep playing defense in their street. Don't provide the opportunity for Splat or Swim because they do have enough clams to make a push happen here. They just need a couple more picks to do so.
Fishy and Starbit working together to hold down the for the basket here, getting a nice pick here, getting stuck in an awkward position, but a great pincer by Splat or Swim here allows them to at least try to start something, but it looks like even Nigiri is holding down the line here and preparing for a counter push of their own.
They do have a slight numbers advantage to work with, so something can happen if they do get the clams. However, it is going to be a little bit rough with clams, not enough clams in their pockets to make any sort of push happen. But at the very least, what they can be doing here is establish position, get as much of that orange paint down on the map as physically possible, and that way, you know, you have a little bit of breathing room because Splat or Swim, they're going to be able to come back here and really start to push back.
Right. Riley decided to jump back from the opposite side of the field, I believe looking like they're trying to answer to a call out to, hey, come back. We're facing a lot of pressure here. And really important to listen to your teammates on this map because it is just so large. There's so much space to cover and keep track of that communication is so crucial here to kind of, you know, be prepared for any sudden change that happens and just something doesn't go your way.
And once again, Splat or Swim finds themselves 2 down, but Nigiri just not able to punish and take advantage of this, you know, numbers game in their favor.
Right, exactly. And it's just so hard to come back from and take advantage of each time because, again, this stage is just so large to recover and respawn into. We see Riley responding likely to another call out because, oh my god, they came through sneaky, and all of a sudden points are on the board for Splat or Swim.
But it looks like this is just going to be a one-and-done push. So Nigiri actually coming out of that, you know, in not a bad position there. They do get the pity clam on top of that, plus the other clam that they are currently holding. But the issue for them right now is they just don't have the numbers to work with. Splat or Swim is keeping this pressure up, and they're going to have to find a couple of picks to just hopefully start sending Splat or Swim back towards their base.
Right, that jump was just foreshadowing. Those initial points were just simply foreshadowing the inevitable here because of the constant pressure that Splat or Swim has been putting on against EB Nigiri's defensive hold.
And here is Splat or Swim getting another push in. This looks like it's going to be 1+7 for them to bring that score all the way down to 49 remaining. So a much better push out of Splat or Swim. And this is starting to get a little more comfortable for them as they get the wipe. Nigiri is all down, and they are quickly picking up clams as fast as they can. But they don't have a power clam to work with. So it looks like this is going to slow down a little bit as Echo is just going to have to put a little bit of pressure there just to hold them back, and it's very successful in doing that. So despite the wipe, Nigiri comes out of this one without any more points lost.
But what a great set of plays there by Splat or Swim. You just saw after their push, 2 members jumped out, so they were trying to sync up their spawns as much as possible, and I think that paid off. That was a wild decision, and it paid off in a successful wipe, and now they're putting on even more pressure onto EB Nigiri to generate some results here.
1 minute to play, and Nigiri does have 3 specials online. Missiles are going to get popped here, but they are going to get shut down by Mordo. Mordo just has been terrorizing Nigiri this whole set. They can't seem to locate them, and it's just caused so much trouble for them. They're really going to have to deal with Mordo here if they want to give themselves an opportunity to win this game in the closing 40 seconds.
Right, that was some great teamwork there on the other side for Splat or Swim to stop the baller that was just barreling onto them. And now we kind of see, with 30 seconds left on the clock, Vision, both teams having a ball, Vision making a gunning for it onto the to the basket, making the split-second decision not to. And it looks like now finally EB Nigiri has a 3-down man advantage and starting their push to generate points.
Oh, McCannon finding a 1 pick, make it 2. Could not get the 3, get the 3rd pick though. But that's gonna be a wipe, and this game is just about over. But not quite. They do have the power clam, the pity power clam here, so they will get a little bit of time, but they are not in a great position here.
Right, exactly. With these buzzers hanging on, just all these red alerts going, there's only mere moments left, and they're at such a, even Nigiri's at such a disadvantaged point with this hold that Splatter Swim is putting on. I don't know if they can get to the basket.
It doesn't look good for them right now, and that is going to be game. Splat or Swim winning the set 3-0.
I have to give credit where credit is due here to Cannon's K-Gal play here. When Splatter Swim was 3 down and Ibi Nigiri was gunning it for the basket to make their stand and make that push that they need for those points, Cannon was so incredibly patient there, waiting for the most opportunistic point to shut down that push and help their teammates come back in to pincer and shut down that push. Great play by Cannon there, and that just secured them a very strong 3-0 against Ibi Nigiri in Redemption.
Yeah, and I mean, you could see how hyped they got after that one. They really, really wanted it. And I'm not quite sure what their current position is in Redemption, but that one definitely meant a lot. And, you know, that's going to brighten their chances of making top 16.
Right, exactly. So you got to feel good about a really strong win, especially since Ibi Nigiri's results earlier, almost taking on Bread Bank to, you know, taking them to a game 5 earlier, and still showing up against a really strong team like Splatter Swim with a lot of history and a lot of really strong results over the past few years. I mean, I think this is something that Ibi Nigiri should be incredibly proud of.
Yeah, and they held pretty strong leads in Game 1 and Game 2. It's just the defensive efforts there kind of fell apart, and they just weren't able to hold on to that. But, I mean, nonetheless, it was very strong showing from both teams, and Splatter Swim just managed to figure out how to play from behind and secure themselves a 3-0 victory. Right,
exactly. And I think credit where credit's due to Splatter Swim's aggression. A lot of teams kind of have to pull that aggressive lineup with, you know, the constant shooters, the short range. I mean, just it's incredibly difficult to pull off because, like you saw in the Rainmaker match, you don't always have someone to rely on in the back to, you know, have a helping hand when, you know, you go out there and get too aggressive. So I think credit where credit's due to Splatter Swim's execution of their play style and their aggression and just their overall decision making. I think it was just a fantastic showing for them on stream.
It really was. I mean, Morto, Cannon, both those players did so much for their teams, coming up as MVPs in one way or another. And, you know, it seemed like Nigiri just never had an answer for either of them.
Right, exactly. But, I mean, I'm excited to see where they go from here because I believe Splatter Swim has played in the past before. They have had a lot of competitive history. It's just that when they haven't played together in a long time, I believe they had a brief break a while back. So a lot of teams have had that recently with, you know, the end of Splatoon 2, they kind of, you know, being quiet and settled, and then with Splatoon 3 now back and, you know, reviving the franchise in a way. A lot of players are returning to the scene and just flooding it with new players, new thoughts, new ideas, new content. And just showing from Riptide alone, I think it's just a wonderful thing.
Absolutely, and, you know, it's really exciting. So, yeah, but I believe that's basically it, though, for Riptide for today, for Splat 2 Day 1.
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty loaded day overall with going through 3 different group stages, 3 different pools, in groups, and then now narrowing down to Redemption. So tomorrow is a pretty loaded day here at Riptide at the Kalahari Resort. We are going to be seeing at first the bronze Swiss stages. So we're going to play out the bronze bracket first. Then we'll be heading into our top 16 where you're going to see some of the most craziest gameplay on stage here at Riptide 2022. Guys, I don't think you want to miss this.
Definitely don't want to miss that at all because this is the last Splatoon 2 tournament before we all inevitably make that switch over to 3 since it literally came out yesterday. So, you know, it'll be a good send-off, but I think a send-off that everyone is ready for.
Right, exactly. All right, with that being said, hey, DRF, where can the people find you again?
Yes, you can go ahead and find me on Twitter at @DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TritonDRF. Mizuno, how about yourself?
Any of you guys can find me both on Twitter and Twitch, MIZU_N0. And don't forget, be sure to follow CCA_Splatoon. We will be happy to help you with any of your collegiate needs. We want to help you and support you. Contact us, and we'll be there for you.
Yes, and our next league is going to be coming up soon in the coming months. I guess we'll say. We don't have that quite pinned down yet, but the league is coming. And I hope that if you have a collegiate, gaming scene or whatever, we hope to see you there.
That's exactly right. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you all tomorrow for day 2 of Splatoon 2 here at Riptide 2022.